This actually came up. I was having a conversation with an agent this week with some coaching, and she was really frustrated about time management. Okay. And then part of that is the time management. She had, all these leads that she had, or all these people, and she couldn't quite figure out how to organize all the people to most kind of efficiently and effectively communicate with them, take care of them, and also kind of to dig through the ones that aren't going to do something and then get to the ones that are going to do something. So that kind of led me to explain the three buckets that you can put any of your contacts in. Okay, so when you meet a new contact, there's three things that you're going to do, or one of three things that you're going to do with that contact. So the first thing is, when you meet a buyer, you're going to put them on a search. Okay, is that backwards to you? Okay, it's backwards to me. All right, just making sure. Okay, so you meet a buyer. So, and let me explain what type of buyer you're going to meet. So talk to you on the phone. It's a lead that comes in, whatever it is. The very first thing that you want to do is, if they are in the market to purchase in the next even year, okay, if they're in the market to purchase, you want to get them on a search. So it doesn't matter. I'll give you my two options for searches that I usually will do. I have a preference for one over the other. So our brokerage does have a website to where you can put a buyer on a search on there, and it's very pretty and fancy and user friendly. The problem that I have with it is it only refreshes probably once, like four or five times a day. So in a market that's fast and hot, that's not okay. Because if it takes, 4 hours for them to get a notification that there's a new home on the market, they may have already seen it on Zillow. And you want to be the very first line of defense for all information, right? You want to be the smart one that holds all the keys to the kingdom. So if you have them on a search that's delayed, that doesn't make you look good. And also it kind of puts that seed of doubt that you don't have all the information. And then they start looking at other places. They start looking on Zillow, realtor.com. Well, when they start doing that, then they may step into calling another agent that is listed on one of those properties to start asking questions. And if that happens, you do have a possibility of losing them. So you want to provide all the information to that client. So here's the conversation I have with the buyer. Conversation goes, and tell me, it says my internet connection's unstable. Am I okay? Okay. All right. So conversation with the buyer goes, you get the phone call, or you meet them, or you cold call them, or whatever, and they're looking to buy, whether now or later. You go through the list of the 20 questions of what is it that they're looking for, in what area, what size of home, bedrooms, bathrooms. You kind of dig into getting to know them and what it is that they need. Okay. That is all in the buyer training in the Elevate course. I think that's lesson 4 or 5. So, you go through all the 20 questions to get to know them, find out what they need. And then you say to them, right, that I can set you up on a search. I can provide properties to you that meet your criteria. And the awesome thing is that you will get notified the second something goes on the market. So I set them up on our MLS search. Okay. Because it is within seconds, something gets listed, they get notified. It's the fastest that you can do. So then that's also good ammunition to tell them it's faster than Zillow, it's faster than realtor.com. You're going to get the information first, right? Because I have you set up on this program. Does that sound great? Sounds great, right? They always love that. But two things, you are imparting value, A, because of the information that you're providing to them, but B, because you are getting it to them faster than everybody else. You have the most, and this is the other thing that I tell them too, it's the most accurate information, because it comes direct from the MLS. So it's the most accurate information. So that's one way to tip them over the edge and get them into that bucket, so that they are not just, oh no, I have a search on Zillow, or I'm looking on realtor.com, or I just get on and check every day, right? So it's a reason for them to let you put them on a search. The second thing is not just that, but when they, let's say, are looking on Zillow or realtor.com every day, they're seeing repeat properties, right? They're seeing the same things over and over and over again. And so when you put them on a search, they can go categorize. Usually with any of them, they can go get rid of the things they don't like. They can favorite the things they do like. It kind of creates a shopping list of sorts for homes. So then they can be able to keep an eye on the market and they have the most up-to-date information. That's the way you get them into that buyer bucket. If they are even a year out, if they say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to buy for a year, so I don't know if if you need to do that or whatever. What I usually would say is, well, if you want to keep tabs on what's going on in the market and just kind of see the pricing trends, I can set it up so you just receive an email once a week or once a day, or what kind of frequency would you like to have it? And then it can funnel all the information from the MLS directly to you on one web page. Then you can be able to sort through it. It makes it really efficient and it saves you a lot of time. Again, you just added value. So if you don't give them a reason to let you put them on a search, if you don't give them a reason, why would they want to? So validate, right, your reason for needing to put them on a search and why it's going to help them, why that is providing good service. Okay, so any buyer. Now that type of buyer, if you've contacted them, if you've talked to them, do I put them in a drip campaign? No, I don't, because guess what their drip campaign is? Properties. You do have them on a drip campaign. You just have them on a very effective drip campaign because they are getting filtered or funneled properties to them, right? Okay, that's the most effective for any buyer that's looking to buy. I've had people I put on searches that was a phone call off Zillow, put them on a search. They were on a search for a year. I never talked to them. They emailed me if they had a question, maybe once or twice. And after an entire year, contacted me and said, okay, we're ready to move. They were hopping states. We're ready to move. We want to look at this house. Can you go do a FaceTime walkthrough for us? That's it. FaceTime walkthrough, bought the house. Guy was on a search for a year, right? So don't discount how long they're on there because they just maybe aren't ready. But the cool thing is every time properties come out and they receive an email, they're going to receive your information, your contact information, right? Your face. Like it's brand recognition for you as well. So that's why I search, I can't say like so many times, people do not put clients on searches. I don't know if they're just lazy or they don't know about it. Some people don't know about it or don't connect the dots too about how important that is. But it's really important. And I've met so many clients who were not my client to start with, but didn't receive information from their agent, didn't receive the up-to-date properties from their agent, and I end up stealing the client. Of course, they weren't contracted with them. They never signed with them, but they did have someone who was sort of helping them, but not really providing good service to them. Okay, so don't be that agent. Okay, so that's what you do with a buyer who's ready to buy in the next year. Anytime the next year, that's where you're going to put them. Don't go put them on a drip campaign that's not personal. Okay, get the value information in there. Okay, here's the next one. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Okay, HomeBot. HomeBot.ai is the website. Okay, no affiliation, but a great program. I will also post in the replay you get a 10%. I kind of contacted the guy that's in charge of HomeBot or up there in the higher ranks, and he gave us a 10% off with a code, so anybody can get that. So what is HomeBot? HomeBot is a home valuation program. Okay, so this is the bucket of sellers. Where do we put our sellers? We can't put them on a drip because they're not buying anything, right? If they're not planning on buying anything yet. So if they don't have any criteria and they're just thinking about selling, but they haven't got to that buying spot yet, you want them to be on HomeBot. Okay, what HomeBot is it's the home valuation program. So everybody loves a Zestimate, right? Everybody loves a good Zestimate. Well, HomeBot provides that same thing. It is an estimate of the value of their home. With that, it also provides what their current interest rate, what their current mortgage balance is, if it's linked in. It shows what the market trends are doing. If they were to Airbnb their house, what they could get out of it. It's a very pleasing layout in an email that comes to them once a month. So it is not spammy because it's only once a month, but it is very effective. So, and when I say effective, a normal open rate for emails is about 30%. The open rate for these emails is like 77 to 80%. It is high, very high. And people find a lot of value in it because just once a month, not too often, they're getting what the value of their home is. Now, here's the cool thing about HomeBot, okay? So, or how to use it properly. You can't just go putting your sellers or potential sellers on HomeBot and not say anything to them about it. That's not how you use the tool. So to effectively use the tool, you have to send them an email. So there's two different ways. Okay, so let's talk about past clients. So if you have any past clients that you have sold to, you want all of them on HomeBot, every single one of them. Okay, anyone that's a homeowner that is your past client needs to be on HomeBot. So the way to do that is you send them an email that says, hey, you know, I've got this awesome program. It will show you what your value is, blah, 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 little explanation, and then has a disclaimer. If you have questions about the value of your home, please give me a call or email me back. The values are estimates. They are not accurate. Okay, so if you would like an accurate value of your home, just give me a call and I can provide that for you. If you don't say that, there's no reason for them to call you. You are giving them an action item to do, right? And it's an open invitation for them to give you a call or reply back to the email. The other cool thing is within the email, they can click, you know, confirm my home value, I think is what it says. They can click like, how's my neighborhood doing? All they have to do is click on that and it sends you an email right away. And then you can actually just hit reply and it goes directly back to their email. So you don't have to go searching for their email or anything. So I got one the other day, just 3-4 days ago, and it said, what's my home worth? Or please, what does that say? It says like, oh my gosh, I don't know. My brain's like lost it. Anyway, essentially like confirm the value of my home. That's not the words it uses, but something similar to that, right? So it wants you to just check for them the value of their home. So that's dialogue between you and a potential seller, which in the market right now, sellers are farther and few between, and that's what we want is our sellers. So anybody that you had past client, put on HomeBot. Send before you put them on though, because as soon as you put them on, it will send them an email. You need to send out the email with the disclaimer and the, hey, this is what's coming to you. It is not junk mail. It will come once a month. This is the information it will have. Okay. I will put again in the Boost Facebook group in the files. If you go into the files section, there is the HomeBot email template already in there. Okay, so if you're not in the Boost group and you're watching the recording, it is just Boost, a business building community for the aspiring real estate agent. Go find that by agent leader, and I've got tons of different files in there. Okay, so send out the email first, then put them on the system. Okay, the second way to use this system is, let's say you meet somebody or you have a lead that comes in, you talk to them and they're a potential seller, okay, but they're not ready to sell. Then you can't put them on a home search because they're not going to buy anything, right? But they just want to watch the market and kind of wait to see what their value is going to do, or they maybe think they're ready to move in 5 or 6 months, even if they're ready to move in 2 years. You can put them on the HomeBot program. Okay, so then the conversation would sound more like, you know, well, I have this awesome program. It doesn't cost you anything. I can send you an email once a month and it'll give you at least the value of your home so you can keep an eye on it and see what's going on in the market. Okay, like once a month, right? It's not junk mail. It's once a month. So any potential seller you want to put on the HomeBot program. That's the best way to keep in touch with them. It has your contact information. It's very easy for them to contact you from there, okay? Way more effective than putting them on a seller drip campaign. Way more effective. So if you can get a hold of them, that is what you do with your sellers, okay? And put them on both. If they're looking at buying and they're looking at selling, then great. Put them on a drip for or on the search, not a drip, but on the search for homes if they're looking at buying as well. But just make sure that you get them on that seller HomeBot program. Super cheap. It's like $25 a month. It is not, and then you can get 10% off. It is very cheap. but it is a great, great, great resource. And it just came out last fall. So it's not really very new. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's awesome. It really is awesome. And I'll tell you, last month I converted four people ended up listing just off of HomeBot. They saw what their value was. They saw that they were high. So they wanted to capitalize on the equity that they had in their home and decide they wanted to sell. So, I mean, it works really well. And I told one of my other agents, I've been hounding one of my personal agents for a while. Do you have your clients on HomeBot? Do you have your clients on HomeBot? She's like, no, I haven't got it done yet. I haven't got it done yet. I was like, get it done. You're complaining that you don't have enough business, but you haven't got your people on HomeBot yet. Sure enough, she gets them on HomeBot and she already gets one reply that says they're interested in the value and possibly selling their house. Like, it's information, education. And if you're providing the value to the clients, that's one of the reasons why they trust you when they come back to you, because you're not just sending them fluffy emails that mean nothing, right? So get in there with those buyers and those sellers with those two types of searches. Okay, the next thing is, what do we do with this? Okay, and who do we put on drips in our CRM? Okay, so admittedly, I have not used a CRM until this last month, ever. So 6 years and 100 clients a year, and I never used a CRM. So first, that tells you how effective putting people on a search is, right? And HomeBot's only been out for a short period of time, and that's been really effective. So I kept thinking, are CRMs necessary? What do we use them for? Well, they are necessary, but they are a different bucket of client, okay? So the CRM bucket, that is the client that you can't get a hold of, who is non-responsive, who you haven't been able to have that conversation and contact with. It's the lukewarm or cold clients. That's who you're going to be putting into the CRM. Okay, so you try to have a conversation with them. You try to get them to answer their phone. They won't answer their phone, you know, but for some reason they ask for information somewhere. So you know that there's, you know, interest in selling or buying. If you can identify the buying or selling interest, then that's when you're going to drop them into the pre-done drip campaigns for the seller or the buyer. I'm so dry today. Okay. So that's when you drop them. So seller or buyer drip campaigns, that's where you're going to put them. If you have a renter drip campaign and you have renters, you can put them in that campaign as well. Okay. That's, like I said, that is going to save you time, because if you have a list of all these people and nobody answers their phone, you're going to be beating your head against the wall and you're going to want to quit. That's what happens with leads that aren't responding. Okay. And the way that you get ahead fastest is by attacking the ones that are responding, not beating up the ones that aren't. Right. So what the name of the game is sifting through all the people until you get the ones that are ready to do something. That's it. And you just keep doing more and more and more and more. And you should have, where I've seen this go wrong is you get excited. You've got like 5 leads, right? Or this happens a lot with like newer agents, or just if you're not expanding yourself out very, very far. So you get, you know, 5 or 6 people that are interested, that you talk to, that are interested in possibly purchasing. You get them on a search, and that's great. And then what you do wrong is you spend all your time trying to get them to buy. What if it's not time yet? Right? It may not be time. And they may have to sit there and marinate for a while. It's not time. So calling them over and over and over again, or checking on them over and over and over again, isn't going to do you any good, because it's not time for them. It's not. So provide the value of the search, provide the value of the HomeBot. You are then contacting them without having to pick up the phone and waste your time, right? And you're providing value. So that's what I see wrong is, oh, great, I got 5 or 6 people that are interested, and now I'm just going to keep badgering them until they buy something. No, you got 5 or 6 people, great, go find 5 or 6 more. Like, you keep filling the pipeline, because once you keep filling, it's like the name of the game is how many people can you put on a search and how many people can you put on HomeBot. And if I were to say, if you're going to make a goal for the month, make a goal for that. Find some potential sellers or talk to people to see, you know, are you interested in the value of your home? If you are, I have this really awesome program, I can put you on it. You'll get an email once a month. It's not spam. It's got great information, and you can watch the market from there. It is more accurate information than what you're seeing out on Zillow, right? The one way that I tie the home bot back to me when I tell clients about it is that piece I gave you. The market is moving so quickly that the valuations, the auto valuations, which is what this is, can't keep up. When prices are jumping, which now they're, I'll tell you, I'm going to say something else in a second here, but when prices were jumping by the $20, $30, $50,000 at a time, these valuation products could not keep up. So then the funny thing was the client would get the email, and the email would be like $50,000 to $100,000 off, which is great because you already told them it was going to be off. And in the email, it says why, right? Prices are changing so rapidly, they can't keep up. This is an, you know, a snapshot, something for you to be able to see and be able to track, but it's not accurate. Call me if you want some accurate information. Call me if you really think that you want to sell, but here's just kind of the market trends a little bit. Okay. So that gives you, that's tying you to them. That's a reason for them to call you. That's very important. Okay. The other part of that is if you are, oh, see, I should write these things down like really fast before I forget them. It'll come back to me. It'll come back. Anyway, but yeah, so that's with the home bot. You can put anybody on that that's interested, right? Anybody that's interested in the value of their home. That's the greatest thing to do. Can you guys hear that? You hear the dog? Yeah. Tell you a funny story. My assistant's so good at selling her own home. She sold her home a little too fast and her house isn't ready to move into yet. So they're staying in my shop. So that's her dog. Anyway, okay.
My dog just heard your dog, so he's near me now.
Oh, nice. Great. Yeah. Barking. Anyway, okay. So yeah, that's it though. Those three buckets. And just if you're, like I said, if you're going to make a goal of how many people you can get added, like actually to add value to these people, make that be your goal for the month. I do hear a lot of people say like, oh, my goal is the X amount of phone calls that I have to make in a month. I don't know about you, but if I have to make like 50 phone calls in a month and I put that number on myself, gosh, that does not sound fun. Just making phone calls, because there's no goal, there's no end game to that, I feel like. But if you want to talk to people and add so many people on HomeBot, great, like make a little checklist of how many you started adding. That's good value, or how many people you're actually putting on a search. Then you're out looking for the people that are doing something. That's when you're also looking for people that are doing something, on a side note, that's why if you get on, like when people are paying for Zillow or they're paying for realtor.com or you're on Ojo, right? You get the Ojo leads, that type of lead, they are people that are ready to buy now, right? They are looking at a property specifically and they want to buy something. They're a hot lead. That's the type of lead they are. That's the type of lead service that is. So you should be doing something with those. Like my husband got an Ojo lead yesterday, day before yesterday, showed him a property yesterday, met him for the first time, wrote an offer. That was it, because that person was ready to do something. They just didn't have an agent. So that kind of goes along with, you know, what type of lead are you getting? And then what bucket do they go into, so that you don't get frustrated with the process. And, you know, just they come in, you know where to put them. Move on to the next. They come in, you know where to put it, move on to the next. Makes it really simple, really simple. So the other thing that I do, if you look in your, like, that's one of the reasons why in the planner, I have the buyer and the seller sheets in the back, is because if I receive a phone call from somebody, I have on there, if are they set up on a search, so that I remember to get back and put them on a search. So if I'm driving in my car or I'm out somewhere and they call me, I will still ask them the 20 questions, right? Potential buyer calls. And I ask them the same questions of what is it they're looking for, in what area, how big, how many bedrooms, what's their family situation, all those good things. Then I can make all those notes and remember to get back and put them on a search. so you don't forget. So that's what, otherwise I end up writing up on napkins or, you know, the back of a receipt, and then I throw stuff away and then I can't find it, and you lost the lead. So that's one of the reasons why I put those buyer and seller sheets in the back of the planner. So everything's together. Sammy says, do I reach out to the buyers in person at all? She has a tendency to reach out one time a month or so just to connect. Yes. So you should be able to see like the open rate or the activity for your buyers on the on your search, right? So you can see it on a seller search on HomeBot. It does show you who is the most active and how many times they've opened the program and what they looked at. Like, it shows you all that data. So the same thing with your buyers. If you have them set on a search, you should be able to see when the last time they were notified of a listing and when the last time they accessed the program was, or, you know, when they were looking at the homes. If you see that they are frequently opening, yes, that's the person that you want to call. That's the person you want. If you're going to sit down and make phone calls, that's who you're going to call, because that's going to provide the most benefit and progress out of everybody, because looks like they're getting ready, right? They're getting closer. So that's where you want to start. Instead of going out and finding more people, like, you have to make sure that you're still servicing the ones that you have now added in. So if you were going to do an order of events, right, and you're, say, just a new agent, then the order of events would be like, you want to start adding people in as buyers and as sellers into these programs. But then, you know, once a week, you need to go through, check the statistics on it to see who's looking at stuff. And then if they're looking at stuff, set a time to call them. Check in with them, see how it's going. All right, then rinse and repeat. Then you just do the same thing over and over and over again. And before you know it, I think I have like 75 people on a search right now. So all those people aren't looking at things, but they are still getting the emails. Every once in a while, they're going to open it. But I do have a good 25 of them that continuously open every single email that are looking for things. So then you know who is important to call. So time management, that is huge in the time management, and also for agents to not be frustrated and confused. And what do I spend my time on? If I'm going to wake up in the morning, what should I do? Right? Well, check your stats. Who's opening stuff? Give them a call. If you don't have anybody in there, great. Then you need to start finding people. Right? So talking to people, calling the expireds, calling the for sale by owners, you know, putting stuff on social media, signing up for all the free ways to get leads. So then you do have people that are contacting you at that point, which that really helps, because those people are looking for something. So that's how you make progress faster. But I tell you, this is all I do. Like, this is all I've ever done. I didn't have the CRM before because I didn't have that type of lead before. It was just putting people on the buyer search, and now on the HomeBot. That's it. And that's 100, I mean, you know, 100 transactions a year based on that. So it doesn't have to be fancy at all. And it doesn't have to take a ton of time. It just has to be efficient. So, and that's it. So simple. 3 buckets. 3 buckets. Does anybody have any comments or questions from the gallery today? Oh, quiet gallery. Quiet gallery. Can I open
I
up?
love that.
Oh, go ahead, Sammy.
I just said I love that because I like simple like that too, because I start going too many directions and get overwhelmed and scattered. So I love that.
It can get so complicated so quickly. I mean, there's always a new fangled something or other that you can find, or some process or program or blah, 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 right? And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to cost money. I mean, HomeBot does cost, but 25 bucks a month, guys. I mean, that's like nothing at all. So cheap. And then your searches are free. You don't have to pay for a search program. You don't have to do any of that. So, I mean, it doesn't cost agents anything. What has everyone been doing? That would be, if you guys want to unmask yourselves, if you want to put yourselves on for a second, you can. Be great to see your faces. But what methods of follow-up have you been using? Andrea, what do you teach your agents to do? Oh, see, there's faces.
There, hey. So I've been horrible at this, as we've discussed in the past. So I hopped on to Lion Desk before we did the videos, knowing that is a new one. So I'm open to jumping onto that since I've done nothing with Lion Desk except enter my contacts. I will say on this HomeBot though, and maybe it's because I have a lot more client base, it's a $50 a month.
Might be
So I have a lender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does
So I
tier,
think
it does tier
I think-
based on however many clients you put in there. Yes.
And I noticed that it's, if you ask them, they will let you pay instead of being month out, because I don't like monthly charge to my credit card. They will let you pay for the year out, but you need to call and ask them. So what I didn't know until today on your video is that you should send out that email so you don't get spam. So now I'm a little bit panicked about that. And so I'm gonna backtrack and find an email, see what that looks like, and then send out an email to my sellers that says, hey, jump the gun, new program, it's not spam, and kind of, you know, save face that way.
Yeah.
What I'm telling my new agents is to get on your program.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. The one thing that you could say, if you're going to backtrack a little bit, is just say, I hope you've been enjoying these emails. This is what it is, and then just go into what it is. Just, I hope you've been enjoying it.
Okay.
So that it doesn't make it look like, oh, I should have told you what it was, and now you think it's spam, right? Look for this. And the other thing that I do is I put myself on it, and then I did a screenshot of what it looks like in my inbox. So when I receive the email that says your home valuation is ready, or your home value is ready, or whatever, I just did a screenshot of that, and I attached that or embedded it in my email to my clients. So I just say, like, this is what it looks like. So then they know exactly what it is that they're looking for. And when they receive it, they know it's not junk.
Okay.
So that's really effective too. Awesome. Jacqueline, what have you been doing?
I've been using the CRM, but I haven't been keeping up with it. It's kind of hard to keep up with it, sending all these emails out to different clients. So time management is not good for me
Yeah.
as far as that aspect goes.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is the program you mentioned, is it better than just doing the search on the Netris, on the MLS?
On the MLS, which, so your searches for your buyers, keep on your MLS.
Okay.
That's what I would say there. That's the most direct information that you can get, and it's free, right? And you keep all your clientele in there. So I would stick with your MLS for your buyers. Yeah.
Okay.
Sellers are going to go in the HomeBot bucket, and you're going to put any seller that you have, or potential seller, or past client. They're all going to go in the HomeBot bucket.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. And that should keep, I mean, and then by the time you're done, and it may take you a minute if you haven't been doing this before, it'd take you a minute to get all your, you know, your past sellers or whatever, and potential sellers into the HomeBot program. And, you know, one at a time, as you talk to your buyers, you can get them put on a search if you haven't yet, or change over where their search is if you want. Once you get it down, it's easy to keep adding to. I do know that when I post the replay, I will put the contact information for my contact at HomeBot, and he will help you. Like if you have any problems doing like a CSV file to upload all of your clients at the same time into HomeBot, he'll help with that. So I know he helped Colleen with that too. Really good contact, really great guy. So I will post his contact info in there as well. Go ahead.
That information is on the Facebook page?
It is. It is on the Facebook page, and I will repost it when I repost this replay. I will repost it in the post as well.
Okay. Is the files in there also?
Yep, files are in there too.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. What about Chandra? What do you teach your agents, and what do you, or plan to teach your agents, and what do you do yourself?
So for myself, I have a CRM, and my plan is to teach them to use a CRM, just as a way to keep in contact with their clients. I use Wise Agent and I love it because it automatically has like drip campaigns for you, newsletters, like there's just ways to keep in touch with your clients. So I want to tell them that, and I'm literally looking at your program, and this is probably where I'm going to be telling them to go as far as training. It's going to be a required training for them too. So that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, so Andrea is the other broker, actually. She's on here, but Andrea is the broker that has an office that she started as well. So we've got a couple. Cindy's one of her agents, actually. Yeah, I'll kind of get it. If I was a brand new agent, man, it gets you out of the gate. Like, I'll tell you, I get my husband out of the gate, and I can't give him leads because he needs to be independent, right? Just a spousal thing, I guess. But I have him doing all the exact same things I'm teaching everybody else to do. And same thing, I mean, he is making progress, closed 3 or 4 things already, and he's had his license for 2.5 months. You know, he's got a freaking, his book is full of people that he's got for contacts already too. So anyway, it works. Simple, but it works. Simple is
It is.
better.
It sounds like it's very effective.
Yeah, life's too complicated, you know, it's just so complicated.
Right.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And Stacy, what about you?
Sorry, I'm driving.
Oh, you're fine.
We have that KD Core CRM. I've never really done with it, nothing. So that's why I'm switching over to this new one.
Okay.
And I need time to stay home and do it. I've actually got a lot of stuff to just, the last 2 weeks has gone crazy. So I actually told my son I might be paying him to do it, to set it all up for me, because I'm not tech savvy.
Awesome. And do you tend
So-
to, have you heard of HomeBot before?
I have, but I just did it's just another thing to pay for right now. So I haven't decided yet. No, I've never heard of it before.
Okay.
It sounds awesome, and I know $25 a month doesn't sound like much, but I want to start using the other 2 things I paid for
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So I'll probably jump on it, but I need to get everything in order first.
So you can go set up a free account and put yourself on it as well. So then you can be able to receive the information and test it out to see what it looks like. That's what I did first. And I waited about
Oh, really?
I waited about 4 months before I even put my clients on it, because I wanted to see what it looked like and if it had value or not. So
Right.
So I would
Yeah.
encourage you to go do that too.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good weekend. I hope it's full of busy work, good work, not busy work, productive work. So, right, Andrea? Yep, productive work. All right. Well, thanks for being here, you guys. And I'll get the replay and all the notes and everything up today. So,
Thank you.
okay. You're
All right.
welcome.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Lisa.
All right, bye, guys.